Hello, everybody. My name is Rachel Hidalgo. I want to say a quick thank you to Rebecca for allowing me to share some of my poetry with you all through Bad Mouth. Um, with this crazy year that we've all just been through and the new one that we're jumping into, sort of blind, I found myself reflecting on some of the pieces that I've written over the past couple of years. And I realized that so much of my writing attempts to understand who we are and how we arrived at this moment. And this first poem that I'm going to read is one of those pieces that I wrote as an undergraduate student at UNM for a final, and it's titled Sitting in the Fire. And it reflects on ideas of nation and how we as a people build on the idea of nation and historically what that meant for the United States. So this is Sitting in the Fire. Sitting in the Fire. Mujer. Her name comes from multiple languages, from pidginization, from tongues undetectable, change from the conventional. Her voice far-reaching, peacemaking, and culture-shaking. It is métissage and mestization and creolization. It is mixing and molding new beginnings, the creation story. It is a story with no name, or maybe it has a handful because they renamed, tried to reshape and redesign a civilization with their colonialism. Her name comes from multiple languages, but it is not lost in translation. Who is she? Woman. Malinayi, Doña Marina, Malintzin la Malinche, mother of the mestizo. The Nawa woman turned traitor, her action as an agent for preservation contested, now the birther of mestization. Her existence, the cornerstone at the intersection of the civilized and the savage. As a translator working on behalf of her people, her son Martin Cortés binding together the indigenous and European, how dare she? Different from her own people, a woman of agency, othered by the Europeans, a woman of color, loved by her children, mother of the mestizo. The woman held captive by a system of subjugation, translating tyrannical tongues, creating alliances, cementing the seed of communication, earning both a crown and condemnation. Like day passes to night, she is light and dark, glorified as the root of a people whose stems extend beyond arbitrary boundaries meant to contain them and bound forever to the traitorous tendencies of a woman untamed. The wild nature of a people previously untouched by the great pioneers of the Western world, now remembered as Malinchistas. Settler colonialism was not limited, not confined to the days of Columbus or Cortez. It carried on, taking land, exploiting people, a history of force and manipulation. It is the creation of nation. It is power and authority, constructs of a culture alien and untrustworthy. It is removal and displacement, people and property, a hierarchy of authority, the narrative of the suppressed, written and determined by those who restrict freedom and deny liberty. It is the narrative of the early republic. The ideals of the colonizers invading every facet of life. In the South, it shaped the slave market, the commodification of beings stripped of their names and forced into a state of belonging by a part of the market where a name does nothing, only used to promote fungibility. The colonizers assign a name, Gabriel, Nat, Isabella, or Mumbet, their surnames Turner, Bomfrey, and Prosser, tethering them to the land and their sentence to servitude. The story of them, though the beginning is unclear, due to the mixing, movement, trials, and tribulations, their journey shows the shift, the clashing of cultures, from multiple languages, from tongues undetectable, the taking of culture and a sense of normal. This narrative is a story of rebirth and renaming. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes, it begins with the action, the voices of the suppressed joined in harmony, singing songs of rebellion, redemption, conspiracy, and freedom. It is a story with multiple names, about mixing and molding a people. It is the creation story of new beginnings, the multicultural world, the agency of the voiceless spreading difference to the north and the west, their names remembered as wild and untamed, embody the pursuit of life, liberty, and freedom. It is the formation of a melting pot and its abundance of diversity. It is strength in difference, brown, yellow, and red, the contrast of black and white from sea to shining sea, the gray area, giving borderlands the ability to grow, causing an imbalance, growing the gap between people and their voices, devaluing their name. But the strength of voices calling from the past, still flowing in the wind, rippling across the land, collapsing time and space faster than the market revolution, a nation of borderlands, distinct and diverse, sewn together, stuck in a state of disunion between clarity and obscurity, the epicenter of difference breeding inequality and a cycle of supremacy, system set to normal by hands of European origins. But despite the condition of categorization, it is a land permeated with a people, unified in their freedom, sitting in the fire, seeking a name for the free nation. That piece is really important to me. It was one of the first that I've written where I felt that I was able to really leave my mark on a project or on a teacher. And I was really grateful to have the opportunity to, reflect on my understandings of the world as it exists today. This next piece is a little more personal. It's something I wrote a few years ago about what it means to kind of reflect inwardly in yourself on who you are and what it means for you to be here and exist in this unique life. This is Shadow Lady. What does it mean to find one's intrinsic nature? How do you delve deep enough into the soul to find it? How can you distinguish truth from the bullshit half-truths and lies you've so passionately believed in? Diving into the depths of the soul beyond the confines of the heart and the recesses of the mind, where you see yourself embodied as energy. Your spirit self, you know what she looks like, this strong woman with passion in her eyes, fire in her heart. She gets down to the beat of everyday life, dancing along with the vibrancy of a summer wind, and she speaks to the moon on those troublesome static nights. The spirit of who I am, hidden behind walls, buried beneath the wave of wanting nothing more than to be heard. Shadow Lady. This next piece that I'm going to read for you is a little more current. I wrote it during the pandemic on a quiet day. So here it goes. This is Nothing and Everything. A bright, breezy day without a care in the world. The grass and dirt beneath my feet as cold and wet as I remembered. The sound of water fills the void, the laughter of a dozen kids, and conversations of people I don't know. An airplane soaring way, way, way above the earth, and my mind is way up there too. Floating among the fluffiest of clouds, bouncing along with the breeze, and a smile paints my face. It is now, the glorious and beautiful realization of the now. A picture of nothing and everything all at once. Like the ecosystems upon ecosystems, invisible to the naked eye, covered by the shade of trees rooted so deeply into desert sands, the future is nothing but flashes on a screen, snippets of a song, bouncy steps and that blissful smile playing on repeat in the movie reel of daydreams. All that fills the space is the laughter of duck-chasing dancers, the water dancing along the rocks, the music rocking along to the steady beat, the trees' branches beating to the rhythm of the breeze. I am tethered to the earth. The world around me breathes serenity into my soul, my feet still firmly on the ground, my mind wandering but always making its way back to the inevitable possibilities of the now. I want to take one more chance to thank Rebecca for the opportunity to share with all of you. It's an honor. Thank you very much.